Greetings, High Lord Gopher. I'm a fan, as many are, and even though it's very late here and I'm exhausted, I thought I could help you out because I actually know what I'm talking about. Look, I used to be a specialist in Germanic languages, and I can tell you exactly how Lich, it is the right way to pronounce it, is meant to be pronounced. I can also tell you why, and I can tell you a bunch of other facts. Now, I don't know your specific origin. I have lived in the UK in the past. I suspect you hail somewhere from the north of England because of your vowel quality, in particular because you pronounce standardized English diphthongs as vowels, as in, well, anyway, I'm not going to get, you're saying you're not a linguist, I'm not going to go into that. But so it is Lich, and there are a couple of reasons why, and then I'll get into the etymology. So English is a Germanic language. Specifically, it's a North Sea Germanic language, or Ingvaganic language, to be, well, depending on North Sea Germanic sounds fine. And it's related to Dutch and German, all these other languages, Old Norse. And Lich is a cognate word. It's a Germanic cognate that has lost currency in modern English until it was resurrected in fantasy literature. Now, it does mean, or used to mean, corpse, just like the German word Leiche, which still means corpse in German, and it is a fairly common word in German. Now, how is it possible to ascertain how the word is pronounced? That's pretty simple. Because this is a Germanic cognate, all these cognates have phonological correspondences to each other. I'm very sorry, I'm exhausted, it's very late here, but I'm trying to help you out here. And we can tell based on a series of Germanic cognates how certain words are pronounced. So you have the word Leiche, the Dutch word lake, and I apologize for my Dutch pronunciation. And in Old English, this usually corresponded to an I or an E sound, so I. Furthermore, with regards to the consonants, these are called fricatives, these kinds of sounds. I'm not going to get too technical. If you have a sound in German, that will correspond to a k sound. That's a plosive in Dutch, a hard explosive sound. And in Old English, this was a ch sound. You see the exact same pattern in the words reich in German, rich, rijk in Dutch, and rich in English. It's the exact same pattern. You will find this pattern throughout, as long as you can find these cognate words, such as Leiche, lake, Lich, reich, rijk, and rich. This will be a common pattern in these languages because they're cognate words, they're all related, but over time, as the Germanic languages split away from each other, they develop certain unique qualities to each other. That's how that works. Other examples of this, it's not the same words, and how you can tell, is based on what we call historical reconstruction, or just comparisons which is basically comparisons of words on a historical basis. Once again, you have the German word Stein for stone. In Dutch, it's steen. Once again, forgive my Dutch pronunciation; it's not that great. And in modern English, it's stone, but in Old English, it used to be staan. The same correspondences you'll see in other words. So these are just various correspondences. You have the English word beam, which it used to be beam in Old English. In Dutch, it's boom, and in German, it's baum. And those languages means tree, and you can see the relation there. So the EA, that diphthong, the combination of vowels, corresponds to those other combinations in those other Germanic languages, and so on and so forth. So it's very easy to understand the origins of these words because we have the Germanic cognates we can draw upon, and they tell us how these words are pronounced, because although the words generally mean the same thing, and originally many thousands of years ago were pronounced the exact same way in the respective Germanic languages as they evolved. They took different phonological pronunciation paths, if you will. Now, as far as literature is concerned, you can find the word lich in Old English, and in, I believe Chaucer uses it multiple times, but in Middle English as well. The Old English period stretches from roughly 449 AD, or Common Era, to roughly 1100, that is to say the time of Hengist and Horsa when they invaded the UK and displaced the native Celtic population, moving forward to the Norman conquests, at which point the Middle English period begins. And you see this word. It means corpse, dead body. In some rare cases, it can mean body. In fact, in the oldest instances, it does mean body, in German as well, which has now been replaced by Körper, which is a Latin word originally. So what happened with, say, with Gary Gygax is that he drew upon a lot of archaic and uncommon words from Old English, from the Germanic past, and drew upon. Another one is eldritch, which was a rare occurrence until Dungeons and Dragons came about. And all these words can be traced for the most part, though I believe the etymology of eldritch off the top of my head is unknown. But they all hark back to a time when Old English, or English, had a much more Germanic flavor to its vocabulary, and many words have died out. Words that otherwise would find cognates. So, for example, in Old English, the word for lizard is Adexe, which is related to the German word Eidechse, which is the same word for lizard. These correspondences over time have kind of just died out. And the English has changed so much. So we use the word take in modern English, which was originally an Old Norse borrowing from taka, which became takan. But in Old English, prior to the Norse invasion, the word for it was niemann, which is related to German Niemann. It's the same word. So English had changed a great deal, and what Gary Gygax, among other it's very late here, I apologize. Gygax did, amongst many other things and other people, is he took old words that had lost currency in the English vocabulary and sort of resurrected them. It wasn't just English. He takes words from elsewhere as well. But that, in a nutshell, in layman's terms, with a very tired Stardust here, is the pronunciation. It is Lich. This is etymologically speaking indisputable, because, as I said, that vowel quality corresponds to the Dutch vowel quality in cognate words, as well as the German vowel quality. Additionally, that fricative, that ch sound, corresponds to the same cognate words in German and Dutch, with their respective consonant endings. And like I said, this applies to a series of words when you can find corresponding vowels and diphthongs and so on and so forth. And this is the basis for reconstruction and understanding what the origins of these words are. Now, you do need a bit of knowledge, usually of, say, Old English and Middle English in this regard, because English has undergone a lot of things. The Great Vowel Shift, which you may or may not know about, which fundamentally changed not in your sociolect, it's in some cases in your sociolect, but in Standard English it did change in vowel qualities, which started taking place in the mid-15th century. Then there were slight changes from Old English to Middle English, in particular because Old English was a different variant. The literature we do have was written in kind of it's called West Saxon variant, and when London grew in economic power, among other things, it became the center the center of prestige, and thus the center of the prestigious language, and so on and so forth. It's really late here. Anyway, I hope that clears that up for you. At a later date, if you really want, you can PM me, whatever. I can send you some information if you don't believe me. But I actually know what I'm talking about. I studied this stuff for many years. I don't do it anymore. But I used to be basically a Germanist. I specialize specifically in Old Norse and Old English, but I'm fluent in German, and I do speak other Germanic languages. So anyway, there you go. There's your information, and have a nice night. I'm going to bed.